Welcome to another of Mr. Gonzalez's tutorials. In this tutorial, I want to review or show you how to graph your data with a Google Doc spreadsheet. So whether you're in the Moodle that shows 6th and 8th grade and this class from 2009, 2010, or whether you're in the actual 6th grade or 8th grade, this part here that has all these links has this particular link, Chimicum's Google Docs. I try to say every time we use Google Docs, you have to go through this link. That's our Chimicum Google Docs accounts, not the regular Google Docs that everybody uses. And if you go into 6th grade or 8th grade, the same link is there. And that is the one you want to use. Now, the benefit of going into 6th grade or 8th grade is that if you scroll down, you can see what the login names are. Remember, for this one, the login names are G and your number, whatever team you're in. And then you've got the passwords that you need to use exactly the way they're written here for your team. So let's go to Chimicum's Google Docs. And mine already went in because I'm already logged in as myself. So I'm not going to go through how to log in. But what I am going to do is start by creating. Over here where it says Docs, you have a Create, and you want a spreadsheet. Now the first thing I always ask you to do is title everything. So I'm going to call this Mr. G's Data. You click where it says Untitled Spreadsheet, you title it, boom. That way you can find it the next day or a week later. Now in order to make a spreadsheet, first we have to have the title for what the columns are. So I'm going to make this one dissolved oxygen in milligrams per liter. And then on this side, it's going to be the date. So column A is going to be my dissolved oxygen numbers, and the dates are going to be over here. Actually, I'm going to switch that. I'm going to make this one dates, and this one dissolved oxygen. So let's say we went down, the 15th, and, oops, it automatically converted it for me, and I want it to be 2011. And we went down the 16th, and we went down January 4th. Now that's 2012. So I'm just putting the dates here, and I guess it somehow knows it's a date because I'm using the dashes, which is fine. Let it do it any way it wants to. There, so I've got a few dates. Then I'm going to put in my dissolved oxygen data. Now, this is the one that you copied, so put it exactly as you have it there. Don't copy mine because I'm going by memory and I'm making it up. Okay. Now I can highlight this to tell it this is the only thing I want you to make a graph on. But the important thing is go to Insert, Chart. Once you are in Insert Chart, this is where you can do all sorts of wonderful things to create a beautiful chart. So it shows me a chart, which means, all right, it kind of has an idea of what I want, but I'm going to change it. Since we're doing measurements over time, we're going to make just a regular line graph, just like this. Very plain, but you know what? It's exactly what we need to visualize our data. So I went over up here where it says Chart Editor, and I went from Start to Charts. Now I'm going to Customize. Over in the Customize, I'm going to start by giving my chart a title. I'm going to call it Chimicum Dissolved Oxygen. Of course, you title it whatever yours is. Then I'm going to go to Name, and I'm going to name this chart. Chimicum DO. This one, you notice, I abbreviated dissolved oxygen, and I put no spaces because that's the name of my chart. And that's what it's going to save it as, so I don't need spaces cluttering it there. So now I've got a title for the graph and a name for the whole chart. Now that's chart. Now where it says layout, the legend, you can have your legend be in different places. Ooh, it looks ugly there. Kind of looks okay there. I don't want none. I'm going to have it in the right. That's where it looks just fine. That way, if I have multiple lines, like temperature, people might have Fahrenheit and Celsius, it would tell you which color is Fahrenheit, which color is Celsius. So that's the layout. Pretty simple. Now I got to do axis. Notice I've got vertical and horizontal. So the vertical axis, that's my the one that goes up and down, my y-axis. I'm going to call it DO in milligrams per liter, because if I just give you numbers, you're like, well, what does that mean? And you'd be right, and I would say, I don't know. Oh, it's milligrams per liter. Gotcha. So 9.2 milligrams per liter. I'm going to make the minimum 0. Always want to start at 0 so your data doesn't look huge. See, the line now got much narrower because it doesn't start at like 4 or 5 or 6. It starts at 0. I want to show that our dissolved oxygen is pretty high. It's not way down low where it would be dangerous for fish. And the maximum, I'm going to go with 12 because I don't have a number that's that high. Actually, I'm going to go with 11. There. So I've titled this. If you're following tail, make sure you have a title for your graph. Make sure your axes are in the right place. Time always goes on the x-axis, so I'm good because that's my that's what's changing. That's my manipulated variable. My responding variable goes on my y-axis. That's what I'm measuring. And so that's the A in tail. The I is intervals. Oh, it does it for me when I choose the minimum and maximum. Way to go. And then the L for label, I labeled my vertical or y-axis. So now I'm going to go to horizontal and label that one. Now the horizontal is just the dates, so I'm putting dates. That's it. Now I've labeled my axes. I've got a title. I've got intervals. I followed tail to make a perfect graph. Now the last thing you want to do is the line. I can make the line any color. I like purple, so I'm going to make it purple. The points, you could have points show up. I'll have tiny points show up. See where they show up there where the numbers are? Isn't it cool how it shows you too? Kind of neat. And the background, you can change the background color, which, I don't know, personalizes your graph a little bit, makes it kind of cool. There. Ooh, thought it was yellow. It's kind of, well, it's not looking much better, but I'm going to keep that. There. Now I'm done. When I go to insert, I've got a graph. Of course, I want to use that graph on my blog, so when I click on it here, see where it says Chimicum DO right there? I can go down and I can save it as an image. That works really well because we are used to uploading things to our Class FTP account and putting them on our blog that way. So I clicked on Save Image and nothing happened. But yes, it did. See down here where it says chimicumdo.png? It saved it into my downloads folder. Now, we have a whole nother tutorial for uploading images, so you can watch that one to see what to do next. Because you've just made a graph, and that's all you need. Just wanted to show that if it looks like this, you want to go to Spreadsheet View, right here. I know it's hard to see, but go to Spreadsheet View. Continue to Desktop Version. Those are important because that's where you're going to be able to get to this. Alright, so I showed you how to do it on an iMac, which works the same way on a netbook. But let's see how this works on an iPad. So we're going to go back to, I'm on the 6th grade Moodle, and I'm going to tap on Chimicum Google Docs. This is how you know you're in the right place when it says sign into your account at Chimicum Schools. So I'm going to sign into G10. The login name or username is just G10. It already has the @csd49.org. I don't have to type anything else. And the password is on, you know where it is, so you can get it. I'm just not showing in here in case other people find this tutorial and manage to see what we're doing. I don't want just anybody using our accounts. This is for us. So hopefully we'll take care of it this way by not showing where our passwords are. Wink, wink. Okay. So this is other people's work and stuff should be here. So as always, leave other people's stuff alone. Take care of each other by not messing with your stuff. So just like before, I'm going to go to Create Spreadsheet. I did that on the Mac just earlier. Now this is the view you want. I'm going to dismiss this. This is the spreadsheet view or the desktop view. You don't want the mobile view because it's harder to work on. You can do it, but to make a graph, it's much easier on this view. Untitled Spreadsheet, if I tap on it, it will bring up the place where I can put my information. Okay, so I'm going to change that to Mr. G's data. All right, Mr. G's data. And I don't worry about capitalization or spaces. It's just to save so that I know it's mine. Now in here, I do the same type of stuff I did in the other one. So I couldn't tap in the cell. I had to tap over there where the bar is to actually type. That's good to know. I always forget that. So this one I'm going to make dates. And then I'm going to type in a few dates. Hey. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to put in some pH values. And again, I'm making these up so they're not precise. Use the ones that we got on the spreadsheet that the class is using. That way, it'll be much more accurate. Because we're going to report this about Chimicum Creek. We don't want to be off or misrepresent ourselves and put data that's not real. Okay, so now we've got some data. Just like I showed you on the iMac, you're going to go to Insert Chart. Now you don't have to highlight, because on an iPad, I've tried it. It's really hard. So I'm just going to go to Insert, Insert Chart. And it should find that this is the only place there are values from A1 to B5. And there it is. It says right there. I know it's hard for you to see, but it says sheet 1 A1 ... B6. That means A1 to B6. But B6 doesn't have a value, so it should just do to B5. Let me change it to a 5. See if that works better. All right. No, I don't want that. Don't want that. Row 1 as headers. Actually, yeah, let's keep that one. So the chart should be showing up here, just like it did on the other one. But when I go to charts, I'm going to choose the first line graph. And by now, there, and it shows up. Now, the rest of it is just like I did on the iMac. You're going to go to Customize and give your chart a title, give it a name, label your axes, the vertical and the horizontal. Everything else is the same. It's just on an iPad, and when you're done, now I didn't put all the labels and titles yet because I want to jump to the end. Watch this. I can do the same thing I did on the iMac. At the top here where it says the chart name, it'll bring down the menu, and I'm going to go to Save Image, Save Image. There's my image. Now if I tap and hold, look at that. I can save the image, and it's in my photo album. I can use FTP View to upload it and put it on my blog. Easy as pie. And in class, I'll show you how to do the same exact thing, but going back 10 years to get all our data.